Westfield High School's rich students were laughing as they threw Sophia's bag into the trash. Just yesterday, they had shared videos mocking her on social media. No one suspected that this quiet girl had 3 gold medals and a world martial arts champion belt hidden in her gym bag. And tonight, everyone at school would discover her true identity. Westfield High was one of the city's most prestigious private schools. Its sprawling campus, modern buildings, and wealthy students made it a place of privilege. The marble-columned entrance, Olympic swimming pool, state-of-the-art laboratories, and extensive sports facilities made it feel like a small university campus. Attending this school was a privilege. The annual tuition of $50,000 opened doors only to children of society's upper echelon. While students dressed in luxury brands walked the corridors, the cleaning staff was practically invisible. Sophia Martinez was an 18-year-old quiet and hardworking girl. With dark brown eyes and black hair, she was the daughter of Mexican immigrant parents. She worked as a part-time cleaner at the school. Her mother was battling a chronic illness, and to pay for medication, Sophia worked after school and on weekends. With her black hair usually tied in a tight ponytail and dressed in a blue cleaning uniform, she worked quietly in the corridors. Most students didn't even notice her, or pretended not to. After days filled with a heavy class schedule and cleaning work, no one knew how she spent her nights. Among the wealthy students at school was a group known as the elites. This 5-person group stood at the top of the school's social hierarchy. Their leader, Blake Thompson, was the son of a wealthy businessman and the captain of the school's football team. Handsome, athletic, and confident, he was known by everyone and admired by most girls. Always by his side was Chelsea Andrews, the school's queen bee, notable for her long blonde hair, always perfect makeup, and the latest fashion. Tyler Wright, son of a wealthy lawyer family, was smart but arrogant. Madison Carter, the spoiled daughter of a fashion designer mother, aspired to be a social media influencer. And Ethan Parker, son of a tech millionaire, was a technology enthusiast who always carried the newest electronic devices. Today, as Sophia was cleaning the main corridor, Blake and his friends gathered in the corner, giggling as they watched her. They had stayed on campus for after-school activities, just hanging out. "Hey, cleaning girl!" Blake called out loudly, as if trying to impress his friends. "There's some dirt left here. Maybe you should do your job properly." Sophia didn't raise her head and continued with her work. She had been subjected to this kind of behavior for 2 years and had learned that the best response was no response at all. Blake's friends laughed, and Chelsea started recording a video on her phone. "How is it that you get to be in the same building as us?" Chelsea added, throwing her designer bag over her shoulder. "People like you should have a separate entrance." "Maybe she'll give us some contagious disease," Madison whispered with fake disgust. Sophia took a deep breath, but still didn't respond. She was used to their words. She had been doing this job for 6 months and heard these kinds of comments almost every day. They used to hurt, but now she had learned to ignore them. She counted in her head, 1, 2, 3, applying the breathing exercises Coach Lee had taught her to control her anger. But today was different, because Blake had picked up her personal bag from the corner of the corridor and was rummaging through its contents. "Look what I found," Blake said, pulling out Sophia's notebook filled with notes. "The cleaning girl's secrets." "Blake, please give me back my bag," Sophia said calmly, leaving her bucket and moving towards him. There was anxiety inside her. That notebook contained very personal notes, her training schedule, diet, and technical notes. "Oh, she can talk," Madison said, pretending to be surprised. "I was beginning to think she was mute." "Maybe she doesn't know English," Tyler added mockingly. "She probably only knows the words cleaning and toilet." Blake opened the notebook and began reading aloud. "Today's training was tough. Coach Lee said it wasn't perfect. I need to be ready for the belt." He frowned, then started laughing. "What belt?" "The belt of your cleaning apron?" "Please," Sophia said, extending her hand. "That's personal." "Personal?" Tyler took the notebook from Blake and quickly flipped through the pages. "There are a bunch of exercise programs and diets here. Don't tell me you're trying to be a fitness influencer." "She probably charges $5 per request," Chelsea said with a smile. "Like she needs the money." The 5 students burst into laughter. Ethan pulled out his phone and started recording Sophia. "This will make a perfect TikTok," he said, pointing the camera at Sophia's face. The cleaning girl's big dreams. Sophia's eyes flashed momentarily with a spark of anger. Her hands slightly clenched into a fist, but she quickly controlled herself. She took a deep breath and calmed down. Just then, the school's vice principal, Mr. Peterson, entered the corridor. A serious-looking man in his 60s, he always wore a suit. "What's going on here?" he asked sharply. Blake quickly hid the notebook in his bag. "Nothing, Mr. Peterson." "Just chatting." Mr. Peterson gave them a suspicious look. He knew the hierarchy at school well. Blake and his friends, as children of wealthy and influential families, could usually do whatever they wanted. But there were still rules. "Sophia, is everything all right?" he asked, looking at the girl. Sophia nodded. "Yes, sir. I was just doing my job." "Good," said the vice principal. "Blake, you and your friends should be in class. The bell rang 5 minutes ago." "We're going, sir," Blake said, rolling his eyes. Then he turned to Sophia and whispered, "This isn't over." As the group walked away, Blake threw Sophia's notebook into the trash can. Ethan put his phone in his pocket, having already saved the video. "Let's share this with the whole school tomorrow," Madison said excitedly. "The cleaning girl's plans to make her mark on the world." After Mr. Peterson left the corridor, Sophia took a deep breath and went to the trash can to recover her notebook. As she shook off her notebook and put it in her bag, her eyes hardened for a moment. But she quickly composed herself and returned to her work. A voice echoed in her mind, Coach Lee's voice. "The true warrior wins the battle he doesn't have to fight." In the afternoon, Blake and his friends uploaded a video of Sophia to the school's popular Instagram account. In the video, Sophia was cleaning while Blake and his friends called her the world champion cleaner. The caption read, "Dreams are free, #cleaning champion, #poor league." The video spread quickly, viewed by most students at the school. Some students liked the video and left comments, while others were uncomfortable but remained silent. By evening, Sophia's humiliation at school had turned into a full-blown social media event. That same evening, when Sophia returned home, her mother was sitting on the couch in their small apartment's living room, watching television. Elena Martinez was once a strong and energetic woman, but her illness had weakened her. Still, the light in her eyes had never dimmed. "How was school, mija?" her mother asked, smiling at her daughter. "Mija," my little girl. She always called her daughter that. "It was good, Mom," said Sophia, putting her bag aside. "The usual." "Do you have training tonight?" her mother asked, straightening up a bit. Sophia nodded. "Yes, Coach Lee wants to make our final preparations for tomorrow's championship." "Are you excited?" her mother asked, her eyes sparkling. Her daughter's achievements were the greatest source of joy for the woman battling illness. "I'm a bit nervous," Sophia admitted, "but I'm ready. This time I'm going for the 4th belt." Her mother came to her side and took her hands. "I'm proud of you, Sophia. Your father would be proud too." Sophia smiled slightly. Her father, Carlos Martinez, had died in a construction accident 3 years ago. When he was alive, he was one of the city's most respected martial arts masters, running a small dojo, teaching a technique that combined traditional Mexican fighting style with modern kickboxing. Carlos had started teaching his daughter martial arts at the age of 5. Since then, Sophia and her mother had been struggling to survive. To keep her father's old martial arts hall from being lost, Sophia worked 2 jobs, cleaning at school and assisting at her father's dojo in the evenings. "Dinner's ready," her mother said. "I made your favorite, tamales. You need to gather your strength." "Thank you, Mom," Sophia said, planting a kiss on her mother's cheek. "I'll go get ready, then we'll eat." When she entered her room, she checked her phone and saw that video. Hundreds of views, dozens of derogatory comments. The comments were mostly mocking, some containing direct insults. She took a deep breath, put the phone on her bed, and opened her sports bag. From it, she pulled out 3 gold medals and a shining belt. It read, "World Kickboxing Championship, Lightweight Champion." Next to it was a photo of her father, Carlos Martinez, smiling beside his daughter at her first major victory. This was Sophia's secret life, a martial arts master following in her father's footsteps. An athlete who had worked in a disciplined manner since childhood, won her first international tournament at 15, and became a world champion at 17. No one at school knew who she was. She preferred it that way. Keeping her identity secret had been Coach Lee's idea. She competed under the alias Shadow, with only her close circle knowing her real identity. This both protected her from unnecessary attention and made her opponents underestimate her. After briefly looking at her medals, she put them back in her bag, put on her training clothes, and left the house. At the dojo, her father's old martial arts hall, Coach Lee was waiting for her. The elderly Korean coach had been a close friend of Sophia's father and had taken over Sophia's training after her father's death. Despite being 70 years old, his movements were still sharp and powerful. "You're late," said Coach Lee, crossing his arms. "I'm sorry, Coach," Sophia said, bowing in greeting. "My job at school took longer." "Your mind seems scattered," said the old man, examining her with his sharp eyes. "You need to concentrate. Tomorrow is the big day." Sophia nodded. "I know. What about those kids at school?" Coach Lee asked. "Are they still giving you trouble?" Sophia looked up in surprise. "How do you know about them?" "I know many things," said the old man with a slight smile. "A mentor doesn't just teach techniques, he also understands his student's spirit." "Answer." "Yes," Sophia said quietly, "but it doesn't matter. I'm used to it." "Used to it?" Coach Lee frowned. "What is the purpose of martial arts, Sophia?" "To protect yourself," Sophia answered automatically. "Not just physically," Coach Lee added. "You must also protect your spirit. To receive respect, you must demand to be respected. Didn't your father teach you that?" "Yes, but—" Sophia hesitated. "I don't want to fight. I don't want to lose my scholarship at school." Despite working as a cleaner, she had a small academic scholarship. Support she needed to go to university after graduating. "Who's talking about fighting?" said Coach Lee with a wise smile. "Sometimes the strongest blow is the one never thrown. Sometimes victory is showing the other person who you are." Sophia looked at him with confusion, but Coach Lee changed the subject. "Let's begin. Tomorrow is your time to show yourself." For 2 hours, Sophia immersed herself in an intense training session. Every punch, every kick was executed perfectly. Her movements had the grace and power inherited from her father. When the training ended, she was sweating, but her mind was clear. "Tomorrow," said Coach Lee, "will you participate in the school demonstration?" Sophia hesitated. Tomorrow there was a martial arts demonstration at Westfield High. Local gyms had been invited. This event, organized by the school's physical education department, aimed to introduce students to different sports. She was supposed to represent her father's dojo, but "I don't know," she said hesitantly. "Everyone at school—" "Fear?" asked Coach Lee. "Does a champion fear?" "No," said Sophia. "But—" "The decision is yours," said the old man. "But remember, true power is not in showing off, but within. Your father always said, 'A warrior is a warrior not just when entering the ring, but every day.'" As Sophia walked home that night, she was deep in thought. Should she participate in the school demonstration? She wasn't sure if she wanted to reveal her true identity, but at the same time, representing her father's dojo was her duty. Carlos Martinez's legacy rested on her shoulders. At home, while eating dinner with her mother, she brought up this topic. "Mom," she said, "I'm thinking of participating in tomorrow's martial arts demonstration at school. But no one at school. I mean, everyone just sees me as—" "The cleaning girl," her mother completed, "and you're afraid to show them who you are?" Sophia nodded. "Mija," said her mother, placing her hand on her daughter's hand, "you are a Martinez. We never hide who we are. Your father always said, 'Be proud of your roots, but fly with your wings.'" Sophia smiled. "I'll participate tomorrow, and I'll show everyone who I am." The next day, the school was filled with excitement. The gym had been prepared for the afternoon martial arts demonstration. Colorful posters, a music system, and a large mat placed in the center had completely transformed the hall. Representatives from different martial arts schools would come to showcase their talents. Blake and his friends had settled in the front row. For them, it was just an entertaining activity. "Why are we watching this stupid show?" Chelsea asked in a bored voice, glancing at her phone. "Because we have to attend for physical education credit," Blake replied. Also, it might be fun to see people actually get beat up. How's the cleaning girl's video doing? Tyler asked, sitting next to Blake. Blake checked his phone. Crazy. 700 views and hundreds of likes. A perfect hit. Madison laughed. Poor girl. I can't even imagine seeing her face today. She probably didn't even come to school, said Ethan. As the students were taking their seats, Sophia was working with her cleaning cart at the other end of the gym. In her usual blue uniform, she was quietly doing her duty. No one paid attention to her. That was the advantage of being invisible. Just a cleaner. Just a poor immigrant girl. The school principal took the stage and started the show. After a quick speech, he invited the first participants. First, a local karate school gave a demonstration. Then a taekwondo group came. The audience applauded, but most students were busy with their phones. And now, announced the principal through the microphone, a very special demonstration from the Martinez Kickboxing Academy. The elderly Coach Lee entered through the gym door, accompanied by a figure in a black uniform with a masked face. Coach Lee greeted the audience with a traditional Korean bow, then approached the microphone. Tonight, said Coach Lee into the microphone, I'd like to introduce you to a student who is a three-time world champion. This fighter, known by the alias Shadow, is the youngest world champion of the last 3 years. Blake and his friends sat up, suddenly interested. The masked figure, in a black uniform, truly looked impressive. Who is Shadow? Madison whispered. I don't know, said Blake, but the mask is cool. The masked figure came to the center of the mat and bowed. Then when the music started, an incredible show began. Kicks, punches, and acrobatic movements executed with perfect control and grace. The spectators held their breath. The movements were so fast and powerful that they were difficult to follow with the eye. The masked fighter seemed to defy gravity, making turns in the air, then executing a perfect landing. Suddenly, Blake started to notice movements that felt familiar. Something seemed familiar. The fighter's size, posture. Hey, said Chelsea, leaning toward Blake. This fighter looks like a girl, doesn't it? Blake looked more carefully. Yes, the masked figure was definitely a woman. A slim but muscular build, gracefully coordinated movements. But who? When the demonstration ended, the gym erupted with applause. Students were on their feet. This was truly impressive. And now, said Coach Lee, would you like to know who Shadow is? The gym shouted, yes! The masked figure slowly brought her hands to her mask and removed it. The gym suddenly fell silent. Blake and his friends' jaws dropped. Standing before them was Sophia Martinez, the school's cleaning girl. This is impossible, Blake stammered. Sophia stood in the center of the gym, her belt shining around her waist. Her hair was now loose, and she had a confident expression on her face. She was no longer the cleaning girl, but a champion. Her eyes locked with Blake's, but there was no anger in her face, just a calm confidence. Here is Sophia Martinez, Coach Lee proudly announced, the champion representative of her father's hall and the fighter who will compete for her 4th World Championship belt tomorrow at the World Championship in New York. And also, he added, a member of your school's cleaning staff. With this last statement, there was an uneasy stirring in the gym. Students looked at each other, some with embarrassment, some with astonishment. The gym filled with applause again. Students were looking at each other in amazement. The cleaning girl? A world champion? Blake and his friends shrank in their seats with shame. The video they had shared just yesterday now stared them in the face. When they quickly checked their phones, they saw hundreds of new comments had been added to the video. This girl is a real champion. Blake and his friends should apologize. Here's a true inspiration. Chelsea leaned toward Blake. I have her video on my phone. What do we do now? Blake thought for a moment. Delete it right now. But it got hundreds of views, said Chelsea. I don't care, said Blake. Delete it. Sophia was about to leave the gym after the post-demonstration applause. However, the principal took the microphone again. May I have your attention for a moment, he said. I think this is a learning moment for us. Sophia, I believe I have something to say to you. Sophia turned around, looking at the principal with a slightly confused expression. Sophia, said the principal, first I want to congratulate you on this extraordinary talent. But more importantly, for the effort and humility you show every day. It seems we didn't really know you." The principal looked at Blake and his friends. "And some of us seem to have forgotten the danger of judging people by their appearances." The gym listened quietly. Blake was looking at the floor, his face red. "As Westfield High School," the principal continued, "we expect respect to be shown to all our students and staff. Sometimes we forget this simple truth." Sophia was at a loss for words for a moment. Then she moved toward the microphone. The principal gave way to her. "Thank you, Mr. Roberts," said Sophia. I I just want to say this. Who you are is determined by what you do, not how you look." Her voice was strong. She was no longer that shy cleaning girl. "I am my father's daughter, Carlos Martinez's daughter. He always taught me the importance of being honorable, working hard, and following my dreams." Her eyes shifted to Blake and his friends. "And he taught me to respect everyone, because everyone has a story, everyone has a struggle." The gym filled with applause again. Some students had tears in their eyes. Sophia's words had touched them. After the show was over, Blake confronted Sophia as she was heading to the locker room. Chelsea and the others weren't with him. He appeared alone for the first time. The usual confident expression was gone from his face. "Sophia," he said, his voice unusually soft. I'm sorry, I didn't know." "What didn't you know, Blake?" Sophia asked calmly. "That I was a champion, or that I was a human being deserving of respect?" Blake bowed his head. "Both." "You didn't need to know," said Sophia. "Respect should be shown based on a person's character, not their achievements. I was the same person when I was the cleaning girl as I am when I'm a champion." "You're right," said Blake. "We've taken down the video from social media, and I'm really sorry for our behavior toward you and the other staff." He paused for a moment. Maybe you could teach me a few moves?" Sophia smiled slightly. "Maybe. But the first lesson you need to learn is respect. I ask you to show respect not just to me, but to everyone. The cleaning staff at our school, the cafeteria workers, everyone. They're people too, Blake. They have lives, dreams." Blake nodded. "I promise." "Then," said Sophia, "I'll see you at the hall. I'll show you the moves you want to learn." Blake smiled sincerely for the first time. "Thank you." That day, something changed in the school's social dynamics. Sophia was no longer invisible. Students greeted her respectfully as she walked the corridors. On Westfield High's most popular social media accounts, Blake and his friends published an apology video praising Sophia's achievements and courage and inviting other students to show respect to everyone. The principal suggested Sophia apply for the school's sports scholarship program. "We would be honored to have an athlete like you," he said. "And how about starting an after-school martial arts club?" Sophia's life had changed overnight. She was no longer just the cleaning girl. She had become a figure respected among students, even admired. But perhaps the most important change was in Blake and his friends. Blake learned basic martial arts moves taught by Sophia over several weeks. In this process, he learned not just physical techniques, but also respect, discipline, and self-control. Once, when a new student started mocking a cleaning staff member, Blake stopped him. "Hey," he said, "in this school, we respect everyone. Understood?" Blake's attitude influenced other students as well. The attitude towards school staff slowly began to change. The following week, when Sophia won her fourth World Championship belt at the World Championship in New York, the entire Westfield High was watching her, this time with admiration and respect. A large screen had been set up in the school's main hall, and almost all students had come to watch. When Sophia defeated her opponent in the ring, the hall erupted with cheers. Blake and his friends at the front were among the loudest. After winning the championship, Sophia was asked in her first interview, "Who do you owe this success to?" Sophia smiled. "To my father, my mother, Coach Lee, and perhaps, unexpectedly, to friends who reminded me who I am." This answer touched everyone watching at Westfield High. Blake wiped his eyes. He knew part of this answer was for him, but he was surprised to hear Sophia referring to him as a friend. A month later, a new club offering free martial arts classes for students was established in a corner of the schoolyard. The teacher, Sophia Martinez, Not just a cleaning girl, but a world champion and now an inspiration to many. The club was named Martinez Honor Dojo, in memory of Carlos Martinez. Blake was among those who joined the club. In the first lesson, he never forgot the first move Sophia taught him. Bowing, a simple but powerful move showing that respect is always the foundation of true strength. Martial arts are not just for defending yourself, Sophia told her students, but for finding the strength within and using it correctly. A true warrior is one who doesn't have to fight. A year later, Sophia started university, partly thanks to a school scholarship, partly thanks to sponsorships she'd earned from her fighting career. But she still came to Westfield a few times a week to train students in her club. Now there were more than 30 students in the club, students from every social class and background. Perhaps one of her proudest students was Blake. Blake was now the leader of the school's anti-bullying program and gave talks to other students about respect and acceptance. Sophia was pleased to see this change in him. "Sophia," Blake said one day after training, "I need to confess something to you. That day when we recorded the video, I wasn't actually feeling good about it. I knew something inside me was wrong, but I guess putting others down made me feel stronger." Sophia nodded. "I understand, Blake. Sometimes those who appear strongest are fighting the hardest battles inside." "I changed because of you," said Blake. "You taught me not just fighting techniques, but how to be human." Sophia smiled. "No, Blake. You accomplished this yourself. I just showed you the right direction." The two stood in the center of the dojo and bowed to each other. They were no longer rivals, but friends. Two young people who had come from different worlds, lived different lives, but shared the same human values. And perhaps this was Sophia's greatest victory, even more valuable than the championship she had won in the ring. Because true championship lies not in medals or belts, but in touching lives and making the world a better place, just as her father had taught her. Did you enjoy this story? If so, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever judged someone by their appearance and later realized you were wrong? See you in our next video.